What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and we'll get on to today's project in just a minute. If you guys have the Quality of Life mod, you can load in the Christmas decorations early. They're not out in the normal game yet, but I have decided to load mine in, bearing that it is nearly Christmas. So let's get into today's project. You already know what it is. It's Golly's beautiful Nissan Skyline GTR R34. Looking pretty stunning. This is the drag edition, looking amazing. 88,971 kilometers. Not surprising, considering it probably normally just does a quarter mile at a time. We do 1 mile on this channel just to get some higher figures, top speeds, and that sort of stuff. This one is in incredibly good condition, and I feel a bit bad for stripping it down and putting it all back together because it's almost there. So we're going to repair most of what we can repair. We're obviously going to throw performance parts and upgrade that engine as much as we possibly can. But there it is. We got it from the auction house. The good auction house, quite obviously. Nearly bought this brand new. Did we get a good deal? Absolutely not. 146,472 is what we paid. Losing out on 7,686 if we were to sell it right now, but we're not going to do that. We're going to really tune up this 2JZ engine. It's got the i6 double overcam BU2 turbo engine in there with 1,554 horsepower. If we pit the AXK engine in there, that number is going to be endless. If you want to play with that yourselves, do. I'd love to know what the V8 AXK engine comes out at, but we're not going to make ours that mental because I feel like that's going to be ridiculous. We're going to keep it with this one and to see how it goes today. This is the build. I absolutely love a good Skyline. Who doesn't? You can't go wrong with this Skyline. This is the drag edition, and we're going to get stuck into it. It's not very dirty at all, but let's get this one over to the car wash and get it cleaned up. Here we are then, with our right-hand drive Japanese imports drag edition Skyline. Let's get it all clean. Over you go. Probably won't change that much because it is very high presented, very well looked after, this Nissan. Definitely probably doesn't need a lot at all, but we'll get the interior done as well. We'll get it back on the lift. We'll get that engine ripped out and start stripping everything down. The dragster Skyline's in the air. Let's check for the oil pan. It is there, and this is also front-wheel drive. Oh, actually, four-wheel drive, not just front-wheel drive. Looking good. Let's get that oil all drained out. Only 88,000 kilometers, so it should be very clean. But let's find out. It is incredibly clean. Wouldn't expect any different from that one there. Let's get you lots of oil as well. Quite a lot in there. So let's get in and let's see what we need. I'm assuming we are going to need to take out this front suspension to get it out. Although, realistically, for the build, we won't need to. So we'll just get this drive shaft out to start with. Out you come, and out you come over here. Nice and easy. Where's our starter? Just there. We don't need to do it from the engine bay, thank God. And then out with the gearbox. There we go. Now, it is four-wheel drive. We do have front drive axles. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to whip these wheels off just to make it seem a bit more realistic. There we go, that's done. Let's get this one on the ground and get that engine ripped out of there. Let's go grab the engine crane. Over we come. Let's get you over to the car. And let's get this beast out of here. We're going to need to take that engine cover off while we're here. There we go. Don't know if that one will go back on, but we will find out. Out you come. Nice and easy. Now, normally at this point here, I'd go and inspect everything, but I've decided, with the assistance of French Toast, thanks for the suggestion, we need to make my videos a little bit shorter, so I'm going to skip that. What we're going to do is we are just going to quickly show you how to drain the oils. Not many liquids in this one, just the two by the looks of that there, so let's just get them drained out. Anything down the back? Doesn't look like it. Anything missing? No. So to drain the liquids, additional tools, right-click, additional tools, drain tools, click and hold on the container, and then I'll be back in just a minute when all of this will be teared down. That's everything stripped out of the drag Skyline, and I've just noticed something in the top right-hand corner. It says cheat. That's only come up because I've got all of the Christmas decorations. That isn't normally there, unless it's the first time I've noticed it. I don't know, but let's crack on. We need to sort this bodywork out. We've already got the engine cover off there. There's a little bit of a gap through there. We've already got the engine cover off of there, so let's just get everything else stripped off. Out you come. Out you come. Get these lights out. Oh, that's the air intake. I don't want to click on that. Headlight, front fenders, out with the windshield, out with the door. What else have we got here? Is that roll cage built in? That's built in. Out with the side skirts, which are both from one. Rear fenders. What else have we got? Rear bumper. That left a big hole, didn't it? Trunk. Out with the tail lights. I did wonder why there was no fuel tank in this one. It is built into the bodywork there. Nicely done. Loving that, Golly. Good work. What else have we got here? Let's keep going around. Fender. window and door. And that should be everything for the exterior. We'll check in a minute. Let's just get the interior out of here. Out with that seat and out with that steering wheel. We'll check the seats a bit later. And did we get everything? 3%. So no, we didn't. What are we missing? Left body window A, of course. My favorite thing to forget. There we go. Now that should be everything. That is everything off of there. 91% frame. And I paid 146,000 for it. So I'm going to say that this isn't going to be that much. I'm just going to say 500. Probably well off, but there we go. 1,500. Still quite far off. Let's just check out the Bodywork shop for this one here. There it is. Lots of the side skirts there to play around with. Mine's just going back as it was. I quite like the look of the build there. Lots of spoiler options. Exhaust options. That's quite cool. Some badging. Some spoiler more. Engine covers. So that's what we're going to play around with in a bit. I'm going to see what paints well. I am going to keep the engine cover on because the air filter sits underneath this part here. So we will keep one of these engine covers. I just want to see which one paints the best to go with whatever theme we've got today. So for the minute, I'm just going to pick the normal one back on. Front bumper options, plenty of them as well. Doors, stock, outer skin, stripped. I'm assuming that's stripped on the inside there, along with the carbon doors. Carbon fenders as well, if you want to play with them. More fenders, hoods. Now, here's one thing very quickly I just want to mention. Hood D is what comes on the drag build. The liveries do not go on Hood D. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know how it works. I will mention it to Golly. I haven't quite yet, but I will do that. We won't be putting Hood D back on. I was going to, but I'm going to change my mind and put a different one on that works with the liveries so I can showcase them all. Let's crack on. Headlight options, quite cool. Mine's just going to be sticking as it was. Mirror options, rear light options, rear bumper options. Rear fender options as well. Lots to go on here. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, and then some windows. 10 pages worth of stuff for that one. So it is a pretty good. As I said, mine's probably just going to go back together mostly as it was. Definitely changing that hood though and changing the interior. So I'm going to crack on, get all of that repaired, ready to go back on, and I'll see you in a minute. Time to get the body back together on the beautiful dragster Skyline. Let's just jump into it. I've changed a few bits, nothing special. Got a lovely little Nismo hood going on there. We kept the front bumper and the lights and the fenders all as they were. They're the Sunline Racing fenders. Looking really sweet with the steps coming out the side there. Looking amazing. The doors, I did switch them to the Nismo doors for one reason. They just look a little better on the inside. Just got a little splash of red on there. And we all know how much I do love a bit of a red now and then. In with the windshield, change that one to one with the strip on it. Windows, change the mirrors to the Sunline Racing mirrors. Just because, I think they look quite good. Body window, don't forget that one. Rear fenders, we did keep them as the stock. I did already put them on, I think, but they were the stock anyway. And go back around. On we go with that fender, window, mirror, and window. Think that's all of that. Let's jump down to the back. The trunk, I just changed it to the debadged one there. Kept that big old drag spoiler on there. And the rear bumper, I swapped to bumper B just because it looks a bit meaner, a bit nastier on the drag strip. The tail lights I swapped out to these lovely little rotating RGB ones. They look fantastic. People are going to enjoy them behind us on the drag strip, hopefully. Let's get the rear window in, and that should be everything for the body apart from the engine cover. I have just repaired the one that came with it for now. We may change that a little bit later on, depending on how well it paints. Let's get on and get the interior in. Got some Nismo parts, so why not have a Nismo seat in there? Makes perfect sense. And a steering wheel 8, which is the same as the one that came with it. That should be everything. Just have a quick double check in here. 96% is not everything. I'm definitely missing something, and I need to figure out what. Apparently, I thought I'd put the skirts on, but I had not, so let's get them on. Just the stock ones. There we go. Can't believe I missed that. That should now be everything. Wrong screen. 100%, 100%, 100%. Absolutely fantastic. Let's get this one over to the paint shop and see the liveries that Golly has included with this beautiful Nissan Skyline. Here we are then in the paint shop with a beautiful Skyline. Now, I know French Toast helped with some of these originally when it came out in CMS 18. So I don't know what's been changed since then. So let's have a look what we've got here. We've got the Blitz Drift Performance. I do believe these Sunline Racing fenders also don't quite match the liveries properly. I don't think that should be there as it's down there. Not 100% on that, and that's backwards. But a lot of the Drift Racing liveries do come backwards anyway. So that might be intentional. but probably not what we're going to go for today. What have we got? Number 2. This isn't a bad one. We could go for that just in black and white. I do quite like that. You got some logos down the side, some sponsor decals down the side. R1 Titan on the hood there. A little bit on the back as well. Not too bad, maybe. Slot number 3. Is that just the window banner? Let's just put some colour into it. That is just the window banner. Gran Turismo window banner on there for me. Slot number 4 is loading. Oh, I like that. That is the East Siders with some sponsors down the side there. A little bit on the hood there as well. That's pretty nice. I do quite like that. And a lovely logo on the trunk, maybe. Might come back to that one in a moment. Then we've obviously got the classic Skyline. But again, these fenders aren't working with this livery, so that shouldn't be there. But we could get around that if we wanted to keep it by just painting these fenders silver or the body coloured matched. And it would look pretty good if we go for that. We're not going to, though. You got Liberty Walk 1 with all the stuff on it backwards. I like that. That's because if you're in front of it, it'll be the right way round. Quite clever. But we're not going for the Liberty Walk 1 today. It's not the Liberty Walk build. I have no idea what this is. It's got a few splashes of purple in a couple of weird places. I don't know. I'm just going to gloss over that one. Off we go. Then we've got a Gran Turismo one. But again, these fenders. I thought it was just the hood, but it's the hood and fenders that aren't working with the livery. So we won't be going with that one today. Easy to get around. If you wanted to go with this, just paint them fenders white and it would still look pretty good, in my opinion. Number 9 is the police one. That's pretty cool. Again, I would either paint them probably just white on there or maybe black so it goes alternating. And that would work. I mean, it doesn't look too bad on the livery anyway. A bit of crisscross checkerboard pattern on there. Looking all right. And number 10 is loading. Just a Nismo one. Oh, we do have a few Nismo parts. Maybe we go for that. Keep it white as well. I quite like the white. Maybe not a gloss white. Maybe we would go for like a pearl white on there. That's not bad. I do quite like that. Maybe we'd change that strip to black just to separate it all up a little bit. Maybe. I'm undecided. At the moment, I'm torn between this Nismo one that does look pretty sweet, and I do like Nismo, or the East Siders one. Give me a couple of minutes. I'll be back in a little while if it loads. There we go, to decide which one I'm going to go for. I don't like that in pearl, but I do like that one in matte. So I'm torn between this in matte and the Nismo one in a pearl white. Let's see. I'm going to have a play, see what I like, and I'll be back in just a minute. Here we have it then. I went with the Nismo one. It might be a bit boring to some, but I quite like this little detail on the front. A Z-Tune and concept engine. I love that. I've also swapped the engine cover out for one that goes with it. And if you look on there, it's got the Z2 on there, 2JZ on the cover. We've given it a little coat of red on there, which means we're going to splash some black and red on that lovely engine underneath. Not that you'll see it under the engine cover, but you know what I'm like. I still like to make my engines look cool. Blacked out the headlights, giving it a bit of panda eyes. Also blacked out the windshield cover on there and put some red on the seats and just a bit of a darker black on the steering wheel there. Matching in with the door cards. Looking a pretty sweet Nismo build drag edition. Loving that. Let's get on, though. I've got some engine to paint. We obviously know that that's going to be a bit of black, a bit of red, maybe a splash of white. I'm thinking that fan. Keep that fan and its original white on there. As for the suspension, probably just black and red. I reckon on there, just black and red. Splashing a few pieces. Red brake calipers, red springs. Maybe the rest of it all blacked out. We shall see. Let's time to get it all. Let's time? Just realised that made no sense. It's time to start getting it all back together. So I'm going to crack on and get everything painted, get it back on the lift, and then start reassembly. That's everything painted, ready to go back on the drag Skyline. Starting with the suspension, red shocks, black springs. Bit opposite to what I'd normally do, but they look amazing. Really like them. And let's start getting it all together. Starting with the large intercooler. Now, this does sit under the intercooler that's in the cover. It does say Nismo on it. You can't see it from anywhere, which is a bit of a shame. If I just come out of here, look, completely blacked out. But you can see there is a cover around it, so it doesn't matter that it's red anyway. I just liked it in the red. But let's carry on. The main cross member there, just in a lovely little black. And let's get these bushings in to make sure I don't forget them. Down you go, down you go. Right, the steering rack does sort of punch through the center of the engine there, but we don't mind that. along with the sway bar as well. Then we've got the front knuckle in a lovely red, the inner and outer tie rod, which don't line up, but we won't mention it, in a red, then into a black. Loving that. And then the bottom and upper suspension arms are just in black. Obviously, we got that shock running through the middle that looks pretty good. On we go. Well, hopefully it looks pretty good. Let's just get it in. There we go. Lovely red into the black there. Now, this is a plastic part, so it's not the same red. I did fiddle with it a little bit to get it as close as I could. Sway bar end link in the red. Then we got the knuckle cover in black there. And then the wheel hub in that lovely red. On you go with a bearing. Let's get the disc on. And then we've got a front drive axle, which I am going to throw on now. In you go. It is in the red. Where can I get the differential? There it is. I've just done that one in a black because it goes through the block. And the block is going to be black. So there we go. The front brake pads. And then a lovely chrome red brake caliper on there just to finish that off. Looking pretty cool. Not too much red. Mostly black. But still enough red that you can see it. Down the back, we've got the drive axle in a black. It's a swing over. Spring cap in a red to match the front along with the shock there. Looking good. And then a black spring and then a red topper. In we go. The solid axle control arm, that is also in a red, in with the rubber bushing just to make sure. And then the plate underneath in a black with the U-bolts both in that lovely red. In we go and in we go. The knuckle is in a red because why not, with the plate or hub in a black. And then the drive axle also in a red there, completely matching the front. I like that. Brake disc, brake pad, brake caliper. There we go. Now, there's no fuel tank in this one because it's built into the car. You can just sort of about see it shadowed up there, looking at pretty good. We're not going to throw the wheels on yet, and I've got nothing to do for the moment, so I'm going to crack on and get the other side all finished. Then we'll work on the engine bay before we go and build that beautiful turbocharged inline-6 engine. I'll see you in a minute. I already know what everyone's going to say on Discord. They love it when I build a red build because they just take the mick. It's very red. Yes, it is very red, but I love it. It looks cool. Mostly black. Splash of red. Big splash of red, though, but I still like it. It looks pretty cool, but we need to jump up and get this engine bay sorted. There isn't much in here. Wishy-washy reservoir up there. We've got a brake servo in there and an ECU up there. Can I get the battery? I can. Let's just chuck you in. And then down here, you've got a little air filter. In we go. And then we've just got the fuse box in a red. It's not the same matching red as the engine cover. So I'm just going to quickly get this one filled in and we'll take a look. And then we'll go and build that beautiful inline-6 turbocharged engine, which again is very black and red, if I'm being honest. Let's just get this all in. Come on, quickly. In you go, and in you go. I just want to show you guys how it looks with the engine cover because it's pretty much going to be how it looks. There you go. See, the fuse box isn't the same red as what's on the engine cover there, but it's not too bad. I still like that, although I'm not a big fan of engine covers, but the other ones just left a floating filter there, and I don't like a floating filter, so it was an option. 2 between 1. So there we go. I'm going to crack on now. Let's go and build that engine. Time to build this little beauty. As you can see, the block and oil pan are both in black, but that head is in that lovely red we've seen from the suspension, looking pretty cool. Let's crack on and get started. I'm going to throw these camshafts just in now very quickly, and then we'll get all the caps and everything in there a little bit later on. Down here, we've got the alternator in a lovely red with the power steering pump in a matching red, looking pretty good. And then the water pump also in that red. On you go there. The oil filter is red, but it's black and red, and I really like that. I think that looks absolutely insane with the little red lip around there, but mostly on the black. The fuel filter up here is in the same red, and if we just spin around to over here, I'll get the exhaust manifold in now, just in a black. In we go. We'll come to the turbo and everything like that a little bit later on. We've got cam gears up here. Let's just get you in and you in. And then we should be able to put the belt on, which I have blacked out. I don't normally when it's going to be under a cover. Idle roller also blacked out. And then on here, the water pump pulley blacked out just to finish it off. And then these two covers are also black. I didn't want it to be way too red at the front. I know, it's not like me at all, is it? But let's get them on. A crankshaft pulley is in a red, just for good measure. And then the other roller, just in a little black. Can we do the belt? We can. In you go. And then the belt tensioner in a red. And then what colour do you reckon the fan is? I might have already said it. So it is just, I've left it in the white. It looks pretty good in the white. Plus, there is a lot of white on the body of this car. Hopefully, that'll look pretty good when we drop it in a little bit later on. Now, I'm going to go on and get all of these camshaft caps in, all of the spark plugs in, and then on top of them, we've also got some. I'll just get one on ignition coils in a pearled out red. So I'll get these done, and I'll be back in a moment. Just putting in the last ignition coil, in you go, and then we'll get these head covers on. These are just blacked out. I think they look pretty sweet. In we go, all bolted up. Nicely done, and the one on the other side. So we can get this engine all finished and ready to drop into our drag Skyline. Now this head cover here, or coil cover should I call it, I have done this one in a chrome red, opposite to these, but looking pretty cool. Kind of how it looked a little bit on the engine cover that's in there. If we go over to this side, the intake manifold I have blacked out, although a lot of the pipe work on the engine cover is red. I thought it was a bit too much on this piece. If we go into here, I've done the fuel rail in a red though, and the throttle also in that red on top there. It's not too red. There is still a lot of black on there. It's just a few splashes of red. And then the turbocharger, that is in red because of the pipe work being in a lot of red there. And that's it. That is this engine all finished. It doesn't take a lot to build the beautiful i6 supercharged, turbocharged engine. Looking fantastic. I'm going to grab some pictures and then we'll get it dropped in. Nearly there with the beautiful dragster Skyline. We need to get this one dropped inside it and hopefully see how good it looks. Although it's going to be hidden by the engine cover, I still like to make them look good. Away you go, engine crane. That looks good. Oh, I'm very pleased with that. That looks fantastic. Not too much red. I mean, there is a lot of red, don't get me wrong, but you can still see plenty of black through it. And that white fan on. Let's just put the engine cover on and see what it looks like. Okay, slight issue with that gold rail there clipping through. The fan comes through. I like that, so you still get the white fan on there. Everything on that looks pretty good, apart from that turbocharger sticking through there a little bit. Bit of a shame that that gold sticks through. If only I could have made that red with the rest of this as well. That would have been pretty sweet. But regardless, it's just one of them things. Sometimes it happens, but it still looks awesome. And let's get it up in the air. Let's get the gearbox and a drive shaft in, ready to go. On we go. Now, you can see that front diff does clip through there, but it's completely hidden by the gearbox, so it really doesn't matter. In you go. Lovely little black matching the block there. The starter in a little red, just for good measure. And then all of the exhaust also in the red, matching with all of that. I think that looks pretty sweet. I don't even know if you can see this one, so we'll find out in a bit. Drive shaft, I have done that one in a red as well. Looking pretty good from the black gearbox into the black rear drive axle there. Looking sweet. That's it. Just some wheels to go and a few liquids to top up. Can you see this exhaust sticking out the side? You can. Oh, that's going to look pretty cool. Quite pleased with that. Let's get it lowered down. I'm going to get some wheels done. Liquids topped up. And then we'll get this one outside in the sun. Here we are then, all finished with a Golly's Skyline, looking pretty smart. I do like this one. Has come out great, even if the livery itself, for me at least, is just a little bit underwhelming. It's not. I love it. I love the Nismo logos and all of that down the sides and the way it represents into the colour of the red and the black in the engine bay there, along with all the suspension as well. Let's just go into normal mode for a second and jump under. Mostly black with a few splashes of red, and that engine looking great underneath that engine cover. Still very pleased with it. But let's talk about these rims. You can see I've changed them. I've put on the 370Z rims. Nissan rims sort of suited the build with a bit of red on them, black in the center, and then the red brake calipers in the chrome showing up just through there. These front rims here, these are a 19-inch rim. I've made them a little bit less wide, 295 width in this one, with a 30 profile on there, just so there's a tiny little bit of turning radius before it clips. It is a drag racer. It mostly is to go in a straight line. And then the rear wheels down here, these are a bit bigger again. A 19-inch rim with a 325 width and a 30 profile on there. Looking great. Obviously, you've got the fuel tank in the trunk there, which is why the model itself doesn't have a fuel tank or a fuel pump in there. Built in to the bodywork. Looking lovely. And that interior in there looks absolutely fantastic. Let's jump inside and fully check it out. Looking good in here. I like these Nismo doors as well, with the red matching on the seat. And a slightly darker steering wheel. And it looks good. I love all the dials in here. Very sort of drag race builder-esque. But let's get it started and see what this turbocharged i6 sounds like. We have heard it before. In fact, not too long ago, I actually did this exact same engine in a different build, but we're still going to give it some gas and show off my favourite noise, that beautiful, beautiful turbo whistle. I still like the sound of this engine. It sounds incredible, and with the turbo whistle, it's even better. But let's take this one over to the dyno and see what horsepower we've got today and what our drag rating is. Here we are then on the dyno with the Skyline, a drag edition with its turbo BU2 engine, inline 6, 1,554 factory power. How much did we add and what's our drag rating? Let's have a look. A gain of 1,107 horsepower, 62%, bringing us up to a measured total of 2,661. That's a little bit insane. And a drag rating of A at 999, still in the higher numbers there. That's what I like to see. Should be some good challenges against this one. Let's go and have a look at the gearbox tuning setup for today. There she is. I've done a 2.5 ratio. 93 kilometers an hour in first gear, up to 484 at the top out of 6th gear, with the ECU fully tuned and no carburetor on this one today. So let's get over to the drag strip and see what she can do. Back at the Juneway Stripe Raceway, ready to do another drag tournament. King of the Sands, 1 mile, A-class, obviously. 1,000 entry fee, let's get that paid. And our first race is against the Ford Mustang RTR Unicorn. Wow, there's a lot of them in this one today. We've also got another electric Ferrari 250 GT, another drag Mustang there as well, another drag Mustang, I meant Skyline, and a Dodge Charger 777. I will be doing one of them soon. It's a shame Payne wasn't in the Dodge Charger 777, although the Mustang RTR Unicorn is a very good mod as well. Who else? We got King Slowpoke in the electric Ferrari. That should do quite well against most other things. Multiplies here again, racing off against Dead Bob. And that's about it. So let's get into the first race and see how we do against the RTR Unicorn version 4. We've seen the Unicorn plenty of times, looking beautiful. I do love that car. But let's jump inside ours and see this terrible, terrible driving angle. Absolutely awful. I can just about see better out the side window than I can out the front window. But let's get into it and see if we can win. Off the line, we managed to get away all right. Into second, into third, and into fourth. It changes through the gears incredibly quick. Fifth and sixth. I think that's all the gears. I'm assuming we're ahead of the Mustang. I can't see anything out of this one. Let's just see what we end up as and what top speed. 470, I believe. We did win. It's still not even finished. There we go. A 7.78 seconds at 329 kilometers an hour. That's pretty fast. Very impressed with that. And an 18 at 180 up to the 1 mile at 470 kilometers an hour. We absolutely demolished that. We were at better than the Unicorn's top speed before the 1/4 mile. So yeah, that one was in the bag. I think this might be an easy one as long as we don't jump the lights. Let's get into the next one. There we go. We're up against Multi next in another version 3 Unicorn. Well, a different version Unicorn, but another Unicorn. King Slowpoke's made it through as well. Good to see. Let's crack on. Can we beat this Unicorn? Slightly different livery on this one this time, but still looking pretty sweet. Nothing on our drag Skyline, though, which looks absolutely incredible. So let's just go and try and win. Off the lights. They managed to not jump them into second, into third, into fourth. I have no idea where the other car is. Into fifth. Looks like we're in front of it, but I'm not sure. And into sixth. Can't see. I don't know. Let's just keep going and cross the line at whatever we get to. Are we going to beat it? Come on! 470 again, which does sound like the engine topping out. And a 7.849 this time. Not quite as fast, but still a very, very good speed. Again, we're just demolishing these Unicorns. No point even seeing them. An 18.267 to the 1 mile. Still not quite as quick as our first run. So let's jump into the next one. I really, really wanted the 250 just to get through, just so I didn't have to just continuously race Unicorns. But at least if we win this round, our last race will be against either the 777 Charger or another Skyline Drag Edition. So let's get on with it and see if we can make it to the final. Same livery as the first one, but let's just jump in and get on with it. In we go, and off we go. We managed to not jump the lights. Into second, into third, into fourth. So quick in the gear changes. Into fifth. I'm pretty confident we got this in the bag. Anyway, into the top gear. Are we going to beat our first run? I really want to. 7.780. Can we beat it? Come on, Drag Skyline, you can do it. We've crossed the line. 7.714. That is our quickest run yet at 328 kilometers an hour and 18.134 to the mile. Again, our quickest run. Very pleased with that. And once again, this one was a little bit faster than all the others, but we still got the same speed as it at the quarter of a mile. So let's get into the final, see who we're up against, and see whether we can win. There we go. It is Skyline Drag Edition versus Skyline Drag Edition. I wonder what they've got going on theirs. Let's jump in and find out and see if we can take another crown. I definitely think ours looks better than theirs. Lovely blue on it. No taking away from that, but ours looks insane. Theirs is just a little bit plain. So let's jump in and see how we fare up against another Drag Skyline. In we go. Let's get started. Off the line, that's always a good sign. Into second, into third, into fourth. Where are you? Can't see. Too much tint on the windows. Such a shame, and what an idiot I am. I would have said we're either neck and neck or we're ahead. I can't quite tell. Let's just get across the line and see what the results are. There we go. Did we win? We did win. Wow, they haven't even finished yet. Okay. Oh, they were topping out at 304 kilometers an hour. This is why a gearbox tune is always important, especially when you heavily modify a car. So there we go, 7.820. It's still not as fast as our third run, which was our best one there, and an 18.239. Still absolutely demolished the Skyline. So we've won another one. Thank you very much. Round of applause. You can stop now. It's absolutely fine. Let's go collect our winnings first, and then head back to the garage and get the Skyline onto the speeder board. Yay! 11,250. I love winning more money on this game. Let's get that one collected and get back to the garage. Well, there we go. Second place on the speeder board for the Nissan Skyline Drag Edition. 2,661 horsepower, 7.714 to the quarter of a mile, and 18.134 to the 1 mile, with a top speed of 470 kilometers an hour within that time frame. 292 miles an hour. It's knocked Delilah off of third place, moving the Hamad Al-Stral down to third. But there it is in the second place position, looking shiny, beautiful. And against its final opponent, which was the same car, just didn't quite look as good as ours. There we go. And sadly, we've lost the May and T8 off the speeder board altogether. Incredible car. I really have enjoyed this drag racing Nissan Skyline today. But let's get outside. We've got to say goodbye to it. There she is. She does look beautiful, though. Very, very pleased with this one. Looking absolutely incredible. We've got to talk some facts and figures about it. If you stuck around for long enough at the beginning, you'd have known that I bought the car for 146,472, where I could have sold it, making a loss of 7,686. But we've since spent another 115,461 on this beautiful Skyline. It really does look incredible. Pitting our total spend at 261,933. We may have got it second on the speeder board, but can we make a profit selling this one off to another drag racer of the world? Let's find out. There she is, all finished off 88, just under 89,000 kilometers on there now. We didn't add too much. Did add just a little bit though. And now that engine up to 2,661 horsepower from an i6 turbo engine, which is absolutely incredible. A gain of 72% from factory there. Insane. But can we make a profit from this one? 379,511 is our sale price. That leaves us plenty of room for profit. Take away our 261,933. Leaves us with a profit of 117,578 plus our winnings from the drag race, leaves total profit of 127,828 from this beautiful, beautiful Skyline. I really have enjoyed this, but we got to say goodbye. So let's get you sold. Off you go, Skyline. Actually, before we do that, if you want this one yourself, there is a link in the description below. I know I don't need to do this part, but I like to do it. Link in the description below if you want to go and grab this one for yourself. It is a lot of fun. The Skyline mod itself has got plenty of models and variants. We just did a drag racing one here today. I have done a different one before where I did Paul Walker's Skyline. But anyway, off you go. Lot of profit on that one. Very, very pleased. Taking us back over to 25 million after I bought some cars. What have we got next? Oh, one of the cars I bought. Ooh, jumpy game. This is my competition entry build. Just going to leave it like that. Job done. No, this is the Valsen 2040, I believe it is. I don't know if I can get to this one. Yeah, I can. There we go. Valsen 2040. This is the VM Special. Anyway, that is Swedish for special. But there we go. That's what we're going to be working on next time. I got it from the auction house, from the bad auction house. You can see there is a lot missing from this one. It is terrible. We also didn't get a good deal. 11,863 is what I paid, and that's selling it at 10,308 is a loss of 1,555. We're not going to do that anyway. We've got lots to do with this one. There's a lot of bonus parts on here, looking very special and very cool. And plus, it's got a V8 double overhead cam AXK TRS, the twin turbo V8 in it, with 825 factory horsepower. Kind of a little bit of a sleeper, but not quite. Is going to be pretty insane. I am looking forward to doing this one. It is quite slammed, as you can see there. Rear wheel tucked under. Front wheel, enough time to get a bit of turn radius in there. And if you look just in there, that's just where the exhaust pokes out so that no one gets in any trouble. Pretty sweet. That's going to be for next time. I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Trying to get as many subscribers as we can. And I did set myself a mini goal of 500 by New Year, but yeah, we know that's not going to happen. But we are trying to get up to 1,000 as soon as we can. So if you can hit that subscribe button and you haven't already, please do. And it will also help you stay up to date with all the videos we create, especially if you click that notifications bell. And don't forget to leave me a comment, click the like button, and share this video as far and as wide as you want. Again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you had an amazing weekend. Hope you have an amazing day. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.